Okay, class. In this video, we're gonna start to bring in the citizen, the civilian, into the scene. So we're gonna save the civilian and pass this whole tunnel and win the game. Okay, so first I want you to go to the model I provided for today, which is the girls model. So let's drop this whole folder in here. So we're gonna go to the models folder. Here we're gonna create a new folder. I'm gonna say girl. So this will be our civilian in the game. So now let's drop in the girl model folder into the scene here. Okay, so once it's finished importing, we're gonna go to here, the cage. All right, so we're going to drop in the model. Okay, so right now I have no idea the size of the character, so we can bring in the player reference. Yeah, here we go. So we can bring in the player reference that we have created earlier and bring them close together so we can compare. Okay, so this player reference is about 1.7 meters tall. So that means we are good. You know, the scale of our girl is good. So then let's assign the texture to the girl. So first let's create a material. Let's see girl M for material. So let's assign the diffuse map and the normal map. It says the texture has the issue, so we just click on fix that, and then assign the material onto the character. So first is the shirt, and then the body, and then the pants, and the shoe, the hair, and the eyeball, but not the eye lips. So I'm gonna show you. No, not the eyelash. Okay, so just the eyeball and the hair. So for the eyelash, we're gonna use a different material because you see this material is not transparent, right? So we will need to create a new material, and we're gonna see girl eyelashes and for this material, let's give it the oh, sorry, I got the wrong map, which is the diffuse map. We're gonna also apply the diffuse map, but the shader of the material, I'm gonna change the legacy shader, transparent and transparent diffuse. So here we go. So with this setting, if we assign this material onto the eyelashes, so you're gonna see it's transparent. Okay, the reason is because the texture images I created includes the alpha channel, so it makes the eyelashes transparent. Okay, now I want you to bring in the girl animation, the audio pack, the girl script folder into the scene. Okay, so import all of them. And then we're gonna go to the animation folder. So here, I have an image about the setting of the animation controller, so you can reference this image to set up your animations. Okay, so in order to make our model to move, so we have to assign animation onto her. So let's go to the animation folder, let's right click and create a animation controller, and we can see girl anime control. Okay, you can put any name here, it doesn't matter. And let's select the girl, add a animator, and assign the animation controller we just created onto the girl. Okay, then let's double click to open the animation controller. So in the beginning, we want to create a new state, an empty state. So we want the animation controller to play an empty animation by default, and later on we're going to use script to call the animations. Okay, so here before we move forward, we have to rename all the animation clips. See, by default, if I drop any of animations clips in here, see the name is not equal to the file name. Okay, so that gonna cause problem. You can drop in each individual clip and rename it here, but I'm going to just rename it on the file directly, so that's gonna be easier. The reason why we have to rename it is because later on in the script, I reference each individual animation clips. For example, when the character get hurt, you're gonna play girl hurt 1, girl hurt 2 animation clips, right? So we have to rename it. Okay, so now the way to rename the name of the animation clip is, see, here is the file, FBX file of the girl animation. Inside of it is the animation clip, right? So this is the animation clip. By default is a mixmode.com. So we just have to rename it. So here I'm gonna copy the file name and then select this file and then go to the inspector. Here is the animation clip. So we're gonna just change, oops. We're gonna change it based on the file name. So just make sure you copy the name, the file name, and paste it here. So now if you apply, oops, we have to hit return key and then apply. So you're going to change this animation clip. Okay, all right, so we're gonna repeat this process to rename all of the animation clips we have in the scene. Okay, so this is the girl death 2. So go to each individual folder and rename all of them. Okay, so you can pause the video or just jump to the end part of the video, so you can continue the next step. All right, so I just change the name of each individual animations. So now next step is we're gonna bring all of them into the scene. So first is the let me move from the beginning. So first is the death animation clips. So I'm gonna select all of them and drop them in here. And okay, my window is a bit small. Here we go. So here's the death animation and hit and fall. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna use it. And then there's the heart animations. So we're going to grab all of them into the scene and just align them. Okay, so every time when the girl being hurt, you're gonna randomly play one of this animation clip. Okay, and once it's played, the hurt animation, we want it to translate back to running animation. So basically our character will start to run once being hurt. Okay, so then we're gonna go to here, the run animation cycle. So let's bring in the girl run animation. So this one. Okay, we're gonna connect them here, but before we do that, let me select this one and hit Command D to make a duplication and bring it here. And I want you to rename this duplication, by going here, rename this duplication to girl run sequence. Okay, I believe this is the name I referenced in the script. Let me double check for sure. Girl run sequence, yes. Okay, girl run sequence. So basically what happened is once our character being hurt, right, going to transit back to the girl run animation. So we're gonna make a transition here, and then when your girl, the character is chasing our player, we want to go through here because the girl run animation is just a very boring 30 frames run cycle. It's very boring, so we want to make it look more interesting. So what we can do is we can, with this animation clip, we can just duplicate a few times. So you're gonna play this run cycle a few times, and then we're gonna have new stuff. We're gonna have the girls running, and at the same time she's gonna look back and look around to see if there's enemies around. Okay, so play this animation clip, and then you're going to play the default run cycle a few more times. Okay, and then you're going to play the second run look back animation clip. So this time she's gonna maybe spend more time look around, so these are two different animation cycles. Okay, and then once finish this, we're gonna transit back to the girl run sequence. Okay, so this is the same setting as what I have here. Okay, the only difference is here I think I just duplicate a few more times. So let's do it. So let me just duplicate this one a few more times. It doesn't matter. So you can duplicate the girl run animation 5 times or 6 times inserted between the run sequence and the look back to animation clip. It just changes the way to play the animation. So you decide. So this is like a player. You decide what animation clips to play. Oh, my mouse is jumpy. Okay. But just to make sure, you connect all of them. So this is the first animation clip in the sequence to play, and then you're gonna play this one, and then this one, and then transit to this one. Okay, and this is gonna be the last one in the sequence. And once this animation clip, we want it to go back to the first one. So this is gonna play in a loop. It's like a player. We just set a loop animation. So when our girl character is chasing our player, you're going to loop this whole cycle. Okay, so let me organize this a little bit. So I place it here. So this is the hurt animation. This is the run animation, death animation. Okay, so now let's get to the idle animations. So let's bring the idle one. So this is the default idle animation, and then let's bring in the idle alert 1 and 2. Okay, so we don't have to connect them because these animation cycles are gonna be called you know, in the script. Okay, so let me see. So we also have a girl run stop, but I don't think we're gonna use it. So we're gonna just keep these animation clip in the scene for now. Okay, so next step is we want the idle animation and run animation to loop, right? So whenever with our script to call the girl to run, she's gonna keep running, right? So the animation needs to be loop, and also same thing for the idle. So as we'll see, we have to go to the idles folder, select each individual animation clip, and go to the setting here and check on loop time. Apply. Remember to apply. So do this for each individual of them. Loop time, loop time. So the animation is gonna loop when it's been called. So that's the idle, and here's the run. So check on loop. Okay, so once you have finished, we can start to get the animation onto the player. So first, let's select the girl. Let's assign a script. So we want to get to the script folder. So let's drop in the idle script. So girl idle, this is script. So let's just drop it onto the character. Okay, here we go. And then we're going to assign the girl to here, and player, who is the player? So the player gonna be FPS controller. So this script will allow your girl to look at the player. So you're gonna access the transform, and you're gonna aim to the player, and you're gonna also access the animator to play the girl idle one, which is this animation clip. So you're gonna access the animation controller to play that animation clip. Okay, so if you test the game, you should see that our player, our girl will keep looking at the player, and she's gonna play the idle animation. Okay. Oh, I forgot one thing. So this is the same issue as the zombie. Say, so here for the player, instead of assign the where is it? instead of assign the FPS control folder, this whole folder, we're gonna assign this one. We're gonna assign zombie nuke here, right? Remember that? So for the zombie, we had the same issue. So that basically that is the object, see, on the floor. Okay, so our character gonna keep looking at there, so she will not lay down like this. Okay, so let's just exit and let's select our girl, and for the player, let's just assign zombie nukes here. So if you test it again, it will display correctly. Okay, next step, we want our girl to chase our player. So we're going to assign the girl chasing animation. So here for the girl is herself. Okay, but if we assign the girl herself to the girl navigation mesh agent, it doesn't work because we don't have a navigation mesh agent for this girl, so we have to create one. So it's easy, just go to add component, search for navigation or nav, okay, mesh. So it should already be in the list. My screen being cut off, so just assign. So here we go. So navigation mesh agent. Okay, so this will allow your girl character to walk in the scene. See, on the floor. So see this area marked in blue color. So that's the navigation mesh we have created in the previous class. So our AI character will be able to navigate around this area that marked in blue. Here for the speed, let's try 2. So she's slower than the zombie character. I believe we set as a 3.5 for the zombie character. So she runs slower. And stop distance, I want it to stop around 1.5 meters away from the player. So she's gonna stop when she's 1.5 meters away. That's the only thing we have to change at here. And now once you have created the navigation mesh agent, you should be able to assign herself to here. And the player, so this time the player gonna be the FPS controller group. Okay, so what this script does is girl chasing. Okay, so what it does is basically when you start when you use this script, you're going to access the girl's animator, and you're going to play the girl run animation, which is here. We're gonna play this run animation, and because this animation has been set loop, let me see, yeah, because it's a loop, so you're gonna keep looping. Okay, and the navigation mesh agent, which is the girl, is going to have a destination, which is the player's position. So whenever our player moves to a new location, the girl will follow. All right, so it's the same as the zombie character's script. So next, let me select the girl. Okay. Yeah, so with all the settings, we can check off the girl idle, and we can do a simple test. Oh, yeah, so take a look. She's keep following me. Good. All right, so now we want to switch these two scripts. So by default, she's playing the idle animation, and once we walk closer to her, so she's going to awake and chase us. Okay. So let's select the girl ring folder. Let's create a new cube. So let's see, this is trigger girl awake. Okay, and we're gonna check on each trigger, and yeah, we can keep this on temporarily. So we're gonna change the size of this trigger. So make the trigger a little bit taller. All right, and for the scale X and Z, we can manually type 2 and 2. So whenever our player walks into the trigger, she will be awake and she will chase us. Okay, so now you can check off mesh render, and let's go to the script folder. let's assign the girl awake script onto this trigger. Okay, so here the girl is herself and the dialogue. Okay, and audio girl running. Yeah, we have to create it. Okay, girl resting trigger. Okay, so let's create this one first. So girl's resting trigger. So basically, what's the use of that is, whenever she run closer to a player, like our player will be inside of the trigger, right? And then she will play idle animation. And whenever our player walks away, from her, so when our player exits this trigger, she will play running cycle animation and she will chase our player. Okay, so we can simply just duplicate this trigger and just change its name to trigger girl resting or something that you can recognize. And for this new trigger, let's just remove the script we have assigned. So here we go. All right, so now let's go back to awake trigger. Let's assign the resting trigger here. Okay, and each trigger is itself. All right, so now let's assign, let's create each individual of this. So first, the dialogue girl, I was scared. So basically, whenever our character is awake, she's gonna say, "Oh, I was so scared." Okay, and whenever she starts run, she's going to play the audio run cycle. Okay, so here, let's right click on the girl and let's create an empty object. So for this given object, let's say audio girl, I was scared. Okay, and then go to the audio pack and find this audio, and let's find the let me see, so scared. Oh, ask for help. So let's find, I was so scared. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, drop in that audio on there and check off play on awake and make it as a 3D sound. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so now she will play this audio when we're getting closer to her. So let's assign this to here. And then the audio girl running. So that's gonna be here, either run and girl running scared. Okay, so here we're gonna simply just duplicate the first one, the audio I was scared. So we're gonna say audio girl running. Okay, and then go to the animation, the audio source, and just replace the audio. And then we can go back to trigger girl awake. And let's assign this one. Okay, and then what is that? Okay, girl health. Yeah, we will need a health point for the girl. Okay, so here let's just create it by duplicating the player's health point. Okay, so here we go. So here's the player's health. We can just simply duplicate both of them and move them away. So this one, we're gonna rename it as girl health instead of player health. And go to the text box and change it to girl health. Okay, and change the name of this one as well so we can recognize it. So later on, when we assign the health, the girl health script, you're gonna access this health point and update, what's current health state of the girl. Okay, and another thing we have to change is, see, because we duplicate these two from the player health, and this anchor point is still at the right top corner, we need to change the anchor point to the left top corner. So let's select the girl health, come here, and change the anchor point to the left. And same thing for the health point. I'm going to change the anchor point. Okay, And you can also change the color of the text if you want, but I think I'm gonna stay as yellow. So now I want to, yeah, maybe select the girl health and just duplicate it. Hit Command D to make a duplication. So this one I'm gonna see girl health G as a group. And I'm gonna place these two into this group. Okay, so we can turn the whole thing on and off at the same time. We're gonna go back to the trigger girl awake script. Go to here, say it's a girl health display group. So we're gonna assign that girl to here. So what's gonna happen is before she's awake, there will it will not display the health point, but whenever she's awake, it's gonna display her health point on the left top corner. Okay, so that's it. So now, yeah, everything's here. Yeah, now we can do a test. So if I start to play, and you should see that in the beginning, the girl's health point is not on the screen, and she's playing the idle animation. And if we walk into her, she will follow us, and she will play the wrong audio. Okay. The next task is we have to refine the navigation map a little bit. So see here, when we create a navigation map, because we have a cage here, right? So the computer think that, okay, our AI shouldn't pass here, so it has this gray area that our AI character will never pass. So let's see if we place our girl into the cage, she will never be able to walk out because, you know, here's the disconnected. Okay, so we all have to fix it. So first let me place, let's hide this girl. Let's move the girl inside the cage first. Okay, and then let's hide her, and also find the cage. Where is yeah, it's iron cage here. So let's also temporarily hide it. Okay, and then let's see, we're going to select the wall. Okay, and clear the navigation map we had just created earlier. And if it still shows the blue color here, so it may be because on your floor it also has a navigation map, and just click on clear. And maybe it's also because your container, which is here, maybe the container you have applied navigation map before, so just click on clear. So once it removed the light blue color, the navigation map, and then we can go back to here, select the floor, okay, and bake the map again. So this time, take a look. It's going to remove the gap, you know, on the edge of the cage. So now our AI character will be able to walk this area. Okay, so now let me show. Where is it? The iron cage. Yeah, let me show the iron cage and show the character. Okay, so next step we're going to move on to the girl resting trigger. Yeah, we haven't applied the script yet, so here let's go to the script folder. Yeah, girl resting script. Let's assign it onto the trigger girl resting. So here we go. Okay, so let's assign each individual variables. So first is the girl, and then the audio. Okay, so basically the girl will say, oh, don't leave me alone. So when we run very fast. Okay, so here let's just duplicate this one. So audio girl, don't leave me, so we know what exactly this file is for. Okay, and then go back to the girls audio folder, idle wrong, so this is gonna be this one. Okay, so so we're gonna assign this audio clip onto here, the audio source. Okay, and then let's make a duplication, and we're gonna say audio girl heavy breathing, which is this one. Okay. Yeah, this one. All right, so we're gonna also assign it to the audio clip, audio source. Okay, so now we have these two audios. So when we're running away from her, she will see "Don't leave me," and when she's close to us, when we stay with her, she will relax, but she will still breathe very heavy. That's what it's about. So let's select the girl resting trigger and assign these two audios. And also we need the audio girl running. So when she's trying to catch up, she's going to play the running voice, running audio, which is this one. So assign. Yeah, so now we got everything. And
Don't leave me.
okay, so that's what about it. So whenever she stay with us, she will be very calm.
Don't leave me alone.
But when we run away, she will say, "Oh, don't leave me alone." Okay, and let me pause, and let me show you the script. So basically, how we achieve this function is, let me get more space. Okay, so we have those three audios, right? And in the beginning, she going to play the girl run animation clip. And whenever our player is inside the trigger, so that's when she's catch up us, our player will be included in the trigger, right? So what's gonna happen is they're gonna play the heavy breathing sound. So she's relaxed a little bit, but she's still breathing very heavy. And I'm gonna turn the other two audios off. And you're gonna also play the idle alert animation. So she's gonna be really alert and look around. And whenever our players run away, so our player gonna exit the trigger, right? And you're gonna play the girl run sequence. So that is the sequence that I explained earlier, which is here. So you're gonna play the standard run animation cycle. You're gonna repeat one time, second time, and then you're gonna play the girl running while looking back. And then you're gonna go back to the standard run cycle animation for a few times, and then you're gonna play the second run and look at back animation, and then it looks back. So you're gonna keep looping this animation cycle. Okay, so that's here. And also you're gonna randomize which audio you're gonna play. So we give a random range from 1 to 3. So whenever the random number is 1, you're gonna play the "Don't Leave Me" audio. So she's gonna say, "Oh, don't leave me alone." And if the random number is 2, you're gonna play the running scared audio, which is this one, running scared audio. So she's gonna breathe in really fast. Okay, so that's a function. All right, let's see. Next step, we're going to create a health point. Okay, but I think it's easier to temporarily turn off the iron cage, so we can just focusing on our character. Okay, so now let's select our the girl character. Let's create a 3D object, a cube, and we're gonna use this cube as her health trigger. So here we're going to create a collider first. So here we're gonna see girl collider because we want her to be able to collide with the player. Okay, so let's make this taller and shrink it on Z and X. Okay, so this is our collider, and then I'm gonna duplicate this one and name it as trigger girl health. Okay, I'm gonna bring this up. Okay, so this trigger to stay together. So now select the girl health trigger. Let's assign the girl health. Yeah, here. Let's assign the script. Okay, so here are the variables. So let's assign each one of them. So first is the girl health display, which is here, the points. Okay, so we're gonna access the canvas and health point. We're gonna assign here. This is the health point. And the resting trigger, which is the previous trigger we just created, that allows us the AI character to kind of play different animation when it's at a different range. Okay, so this trigger is itself. Okay, the girl is the girl itself, the girl folder. Okay, and your news screen, so we will have to create that. Actually we created that before, so that's here. So your news script, your news screen, remember we created for the zombie character. So when our player health point when 0, you're going to pump up this your news screen. But now, if our girl also health point is at 0, you're going to pump up the news screen. Okay, the girl audio run group. Okay, so now we have to change groups. So see here in the girl folder, in the girls folder, we have so many audios, right? We will have more audios. So now it's better to group them. All right. So now if I just right click on the girls folder and create an empty folder, and I'm gonna see audio girl running or run group. Okay, so this is a group of the sound. Okay, so let's put these 3 inside there. So that's, when she's running, she's going to random see all of these sentences. Okay, so this one, the girl, I was so scared. This is related to dialogue. So we're going to create another folder here. We're going to create a new empty. And here we can see audio girl dialogue. And drop it in here. Okay, and then let's create one more. So this one I'm gonna see audio girl shot or hurt. Okay, so you all know what I mean this. Okay, so now let's go back to the resting script. Oh wait, sorry, the health script. So here you can see that we have the death sound, we have the shot sound, and the hurt sound. So basically the shot sound is when we shoot her, she will say something different than when enemy attack her. So enemy attack her, she will play the hurt sound. Okay, so that's all inside of this folder. So let's just right click and create a new empty object. So let's see audio girl hurt 1. Okay, and we're gonna go back to attacked folder. So we will not use all of them. So here I just marked which clips we're gonna use. Okay, so that's the first 3. So we assign. So that's attack 1. Leave me alone. Okay, so we're gonna hit Command D. Oh, before we hit Command D, let's check off play on weak. Okay, because this is gonna be called when she's attacked. And let's make it a 3D sound. And the setting here looks good. Okay, and then we can just duplicate this one. And I'm gonna say audio girl hurt 2. And here let's just replace the audio. Okay, and keep everything else unchanged. Alright, let's duplicate one more time and rename it as a hurt 3. So this one gonna be this audio actually. I know the name convention is different. Yeah. Okay. And then duplicate it. So this time it's gonna be 4. Okay, so for the audio clip here, we're gonna assign the hurt 6. Duplicate it. Have the 5th clip. Okay, so we'll only use the 5th. We're gonna only use this 5 audio clips. So these are all of them. Okay, and let's duplicate it one more time, but this time I'm going to change it to shot 1. Okay, because this is the audio when we shoot her. So let's go back to the audio clips and go to the shot folder, and let's see the audio clips we're gonna use. Okay, so first one is a girl begging us.
Begging you!
Okay, so this clip, so that gonna be the second one in the folder. So this one. Okay, so we can assign this way. Okay, so this is gonna be a shot. I beg you, and then it's a no 1 4 5. Okay, so I'm gonna do it very quick. Yeah. No 1 and then 4 5. Okay. Yeah, this is the 4. And it's the 5. And then, oops, I put the wrong name here. And then duplicate it. And last audio clip we're gonna use is stop. Okay, so we're gonna say, okay, stop. Okay, so these are the audio clips. So let's assign. So let's go back to the girl health. So whenever our character, our girl is being attacked, depends on who attack her. So if an enemy attack her, she's gonna randomly play this sound. If it is our enemy attack her, she's gonna play this sound. And if we shoot her, she's gonna play this sound. Okay, so now let's assign one by one. So this is the hurt sound 1, hurt sound 2, hurt sound 3, and 4, and 5. And then it's here, so the shot sound is here. You can speed up. You don't have to watch this whole thing. So you can jump to where I already finished assign all of these variables. Girl running. Yeah, running scared. Okay, so that's the one we created earlier. That's in the wrong folder. Yeah, audio girl running. Okay, to make it a name easier to read, I can also rename it. Okay. All right, so let's keep assign all the variables. Audio, and then the girl death sound. Okay, so we have to assign create a death sound. So we're gonna go to the audio girl shot and hurt and create a new, or we can simply just duplicate this one, maybe duplicate this one, and then we're gonna say audio girl death. Let's go to the death folder and let's do the first death scream clip. Okay, and then let's assign the audio onto the health trigger. So that's gonna be the death sound. Okay. Okay, so here, let me change it to death 1 because we have 2 audios. Okay. Then let's see. We're going to plug in the audio run group, which is this one. So sometime you're gonna disable the whole group, which contains, you know, she's saying "Don't leave me" or "Heavy breathing." So you're gonna disable the whole group, and then the dialogue here. So sometimes we want her to be mute. Okay, want to mute her, and then the shot and hurt group, which is this one. Okay, so that way we can disable the entire group sometimes. I think we got everything. Okay, then we'll have to make the health trigger a little bit bigger to cover her entire body. Okay, so for the scale, let's see, Z, X and Z will be around 0.3. Okay. Yeah, my bad. My mouth is jumpy, so. Okay, so here we go. So I just changed the health triggers dimensions, and let's check on is trigger for the health trigger, is trigger, and also turn off mesh renderer. And the girl collider will keep the box collider on, but without check the is trigger. So it'll be a collider, and we just need to turn off the mesh renderer. Okay, so we'll be able to collide with the girl. Let me revisit the health trigger. So here, let me change the X and Z to 0.4 so it covers the whole character body. Okay, so now let me run a test. So in the beginning of the game, you're not supposed to have a gun because you have to run to one of the cabinet to pick up the gun, right? So here I just enabled it for testing purpose. Okay, so usually you will just run to her and wake her up, but here I'm gonna just shoot her. So as you shoot her, you notice that her okay, so she's playing the audio, but looks like, oh, I see. Looks like every time I shoot her, it changes the player's health point. Okay, so I think I did something wrong. Okay, so I think is one of the value I assigned wrong. Yeah, the girl health display, I assigned the player's health point instead of the girl's health point. Okay, what a mistake. Canvas, let me see. Okay, health. Player health, girl health point. Okay, so that's girl's health point. So now it should display correctly. Again, as we shoot the trigger, she going to say something like, "Oh, I'm begging you. Oh, don't kill me," and she gonna play the hurt animation. See, this time it works perfectly. The health point deducted, and you will notice that sometimes when I shoot her, there's a no reaction. See, it looks like I shoot her, but see, there's no reaction. So let me explain why. So here I just pause the game. You don't have to follow this step. Okay, I'll just explain you why the problem happened. You know, when she's looking around, turning around, it's the animation, right? It's the animation on the model. And for the health trigger, it just follows this group. It not follow the model. So that's to see. Sometimes the model is located here, okay, and the health trigger is still at here, so they're not together. So it looks like we are shooting her, but we are actually shooting her model, not shooting the trigger. So our boona was never entered the health trigger. That's why. Okay, so because this is for just demonstration purposes, so I only created one cube as the health trigger. But if you want more accurate result, usually what people would do is they would disable this one. You know, instead of use this one, you don't have to follow this step again. And I'm doing changes in the play mode. So once I exit the play mode, all of the changes I have made will be discarded. So you will go to his skeleton, and for example, I find it's a spine, and you will have to create trigger for each part of her bodies. For example, this one I would say it like trigger girl health spine. Okay, and I adjust the size. So you will need one for the chest, you will need one for the belly. Okay, but see here, I didn't get a very accurate result, but you get the time to figure it out. So also you will turn off mesh render if this is the real thing, but here I'm gonna leave it on for testing purpose. I will need to check on its trigger, and then I go to the head joint, and on the head joint, let's see the head joint, and I'm gonna create another cube. I'm gonna say trigger girl health head, and same thing, I'm gonna check on its trigger, and I'm gonna make it smaller to just cover the head. Okay, so once you have done this, you're going to let me make the window smaller so you can see it. Okay, so you're gonna select the trigger and reassign the script, right? But instead of go to the value all one by one. So I gonna just go back to the old health trigger and copy this component, and then go to the new one I have and click on here and paste component values. So you're going to paste all of the values we have assigned. So same thing for the head. I'm going to give it a girl health script and then paste all components back. Okay, so you will need one for, let me get this back. You will need one for the thigh. Okay, one for the lower neck and one for the foot, one for the upper arm, one for the lower arm, and one for the hand, and maybe one for the neck. So you're gonna have all of these triggers wrapped around along the character skeleton. So all of the triggers gonna move with the skeleton. So in other words, all of the skeleton, all of the triggers gonna move with the model. Okay, so now let me exit the pause mode. Okay, so now you see that if I'm shooting on her actually, so her health point will be deducted. Okay, so that's how to make the change. So now as I exit the play mode, you can see that all of the changes I've made have been discarded. Okay, so even if we only have one health trigger, which is this one, it's fine. Okay, it's totally fine. Now our girl character is fully functioning, so let me briefly explain the script before we move on to the next step. So basically in the beginning of the game, if you have an object entered her health trigger, one is the Buna, or if it is an anime character, okay, you're going to trigger a function. So if it is a Buna, you're going to start a coroutine, which is the girl shot sequence. So you're gonna jump to here. Okay, so if you shoot her, then she's going to play the hurt animation, and also she's gonna play the shot sound, like, oh, I'm begging you, oh, don't kill me, like that. And her health point will be deducted by the value of shot girl. So let's see, what is the value? So basically shot girl, every time we shot girl, her value health value gonna deducted by 5 points. Okay, so that's it. So that's the girl shot sequence. So as we shot her, we're gonna also stop her. So we're gonna access its navigation mesh agent and make her to stop. Okay, and also disable the girl chasing script, so she will not disable us. So after 2.2 seconds, so once she play the animation and play the sound, we're going to enable her again and make her to move. Okay, so in another case, if the object collide in her health trigger is the enemy object, what gonna happen is you're gonna start a coroutine, which is girl hurt sequence, and you're gonna also make the in ghost attack range as 2. Okay, so here is a girl hurt sequence. So whenever in ghost attack range is 2, and she's not currently attacking us, and then we're gonna stop her from moving, and her health point will be deducted by the hurt girl value. So the value for enemy to hurt girl is 10 points. See, if we shoot her, is 5 points. If the enemy attack her, is 10 points. 10 points down. Okay, so her health value gonna be deducted for 10 points. Okay, and the health display gonna access the text box, and they're going to update her health point. Okay, and we're going to play the heart animation and also the heart sound. I forgot to mention that we put a random integer here, so you're gonna choose a random number from 1 to 6. So if the random heart sound is 1, you're gonna play the heart 1 animation. It's gonna also play the heart sound 1. If the random number is a 3, you're gonna play the third animation and also the third sound. Okay, so if her health value is minus, is lower than 0 or equal to 0, and then we're gonna disable her triggers, like a resting trigger, so she will not follow us, and we're gonna stop her from moving, and we're gonna play her death sound, And we're gonna disable all of the rest of the sound, like dialogues, like shot and hurt sound, like run sound. Okay, and also we're gonna play the animation death animation and play the death sound. Okay, so that's the script. So now let's move on to the next. So here, let me enable the iron cage, so we'll knock her inside of the cage. Okay, then let's bring our player to the beginning, to the start point of the game. Okay, so when our player walked here, we want to create something that, whenever our player step into a trigger located here, the girl, because the girl heard the door was triggered open, so she's gonna call for help. Okay, so let's select the first person controller, and let's go to game object and 3D object and create a cube. So this is gonna be a trigger. So we're gonna place this trigger around the door. So as soon as the player exit this door, she will step into this trigger. So he will never be able to miss it. Okay, so make it a taller. Okay, fair enough. And I'm gonna turn off mesh render and check on its trigger. Okay, and here I'm gonna rename it to trigger girl asking help. Okay, and if I go to the dialogue, because this is the dialogue, right? She's asking help. So I'm going to just duplicate this one and rename this audio clip as audio girl asking help. And then I'm going to go to her audio clips and ask help. And let's try the second one, girl help. So select the asking help object, assign, change the clip, the audio clip. So here, because we are really far away from the girl, so we still want our player to be able to hear her. So the default rule of, see here, if our player is here, we will never be able to hear the volume. So the volume is 0.05 or something, is too low. So here I'm gonna change it to linear rule of, and max distance, drop it to 50. See, so now we should be able to hear about 0.23 percent, 0.3 of the sound. Okay, so this is audio ask help, and then where's the trigger? So here. So I'm gonna go to the trigger, and then I'm gonna assign a script. So if you go to the girl script folder, so you should find a dialog player triggered. Okay, so this dialog is triggered by player. Whenever our player stepped in, you're going to trigger the girl to talk, right? So we're going to assign this script onto the trigger asking help. Okay, and then here's the value. So audio girl ask help, which is the one we just created. Okay, and this trigger is itself. So once we step into it, this trigger will be disabled. So let me show you the script. So it's very simple. So whenever an object tagged as a player stepped in, you're gonna play the girl ask help. You can also disable this trigger, right? Let me see. Yeah, we can start a test, but you will see something weird things. So first is the key, right? If we pick it up, you should have a error message. It says one of the variable is missing. So that is, let me show you what is that. Is if I just search for key, that is because this one. Let me pause the game. Okay, that's this trigger, the pick up key trigger. Remember, the script we are using is press key to pick up object. So since we have worked on the key triggers, later on we use the same script to pick up the gun and pick up the flashlight, and we change the script. and we add instructions. So once you pick up the flashlight or the gun, you're gonna freeze the player and you're gonna display the instruction, right? So that's the change we have done. And we haven't updated here. So we'll just have to update the value from here. So let me just go back to here. Okay, so if you select the trigger, pick up the key, so the player, we have to assign it. Okay, and instruction pick up key, yes, we have it. Press E to pick up the key. However, we don't have the next instruction, so we just placed a placeholder here. So the next instruction would be, okay, so now you have the key, so you can open the door, something like that. So I will go to the canvas. We can just duplicate from here. So instruction pick up key. Hit Command D to make a duplication. So here I'm gonna say instruction open door with key. Okay, and let's turn it off and turn it on to see how it looks. Okay, so it's here. So we're gonna change the text like, now you have the key. Or now you can open the door with the key. Okay, and yeah, it's being out of the range, so we can just go to the text box and change the font size to 25. If I change it to 25, it's on the screen. Okay, so now it's there, so I can turn off this instruction and assign it to trigger pickup key, which is this one, Okay, so go back to the next instruction for press key pickup object. Yeah, we're gonna assign this instruction to here instead of the placeholder. Okay, so now it should fully functioning. So let's do a test. Okay, so now it's freeze my player. All right, and then I will open the door, and now I will step into the trigger for help. Okay, and then the sound is coming from there, so it's a 3D sound. Yeah, I can tell it's a 3D sound in the game test mode. So now we're gonna just look for the sound, and here I want to add another trigger. So as soon as our the girl see us, she will say, oh, help me to unlock the door. And if we walk closer, so we'll see the instruction, okay, press E to open the door. But if we walk out of the trigger, she will say, oh, don't leave me here, something like that. So when step in, she's gonna say, open, help me to unlock the door. When we step out, she will say, don't leave me here. Okay, so now let's move on to the next one. Oh, actually it's a cage. Yeah, it's iron cage is here. Okay, so here I will create another trigger. Go to game object and create a 3D object, a cube. And for this cube, I want to cover this entire hallway, so the player will never be able to miss it. And also cover here. Okay, I think that's fair enough. So this one we're gonna say trigger girl help unlock door, something like that. And I will check on its trigger and disable the mesh renderer. Okay, so on this trigger, we will make it a little bit bigger. So for this trigger, we will assign the dialog unlock door. Okay, so this is the script, and let's assign the variables. So first is this trigger, which is the unlock the door trigger, and then the door knocks. What is that? Let me see. Yeah, door knock girl unlock the door. We haven't assigned it, so let me see if I have that. Okay, door knock girl. I was so scared, so plug in here. We already created that earlier, and then unlock the door. We don't have that. Okay, so let's create that. So let me just duplicate the girl asking for help and change it to girl unlock the door. Okay, let me place this on top. Okay, because these are all belong to here. Okay, so unlock the door and go back to the girl's audio folder. Asking help. Don't need me. I was so scared. The third one is unlock the door. Okay, the third one. Okay, so we're gonna select unlock the door, audio girl unlock the door that you just created, and just replace the audio clip here. And here the settings. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm gonna change the setting a little bit. So I'm gonna change it to the default one, because when our player step in here, we are very close, right? So you should be able to hear it. What do we test with it? If it doesn't work, we're going to change it back. Okay, so that's the audio girl unlock the door. So let's make a duplication. Let's change the new one to girl don't leave me here, something like that. Okay, so this is another one. So that will be, yeah, the fourth one. Okay, so now audio girl don't need me. So that's gonna be the fourth audio clip. So just a plugin here. So we're gonna also keep as the default roll off. So the sound is gonna fade out if we walk away. With that, we're going to select this trigger and assign the two audio we just created. One is unlock the door audio. One is the girls is begging, don't leave her alone here. That audio. Okay, so let me show you the script before I do a test. So basically, whenever the object tag as a player enter this trigger, you're gonna play, oh, help me unlock the door, and you're gonna stop the other audio where the girls saying don't leave me. And if our player exited the trigger, so you're gonna play the girl saying don't leave me, and you're gonna stop the girl saying unlock the door. So you're gonna basically switch these two audio clips. And inside the trigger, if you press E, remember that there's also a trigger to open the door, which is, let me show you, open door, trigger open door, open cage door. See, there's also another trigger there. It has the press key to open the door script attached. So if we press E here, you're gonna open the door, right? So when we press E, you're gonna also work on this script, which is door knock unlock the door. So once we press the E, so basically gonna disable the door knock for unlock the door please and don't leave me please, and instead you're gonna play I was so scared, and you're gonna also disable this trigger. All right, next step, we want our girl to see something when the lights being shut off. Okay, so we can go to the trigger that turn off the lights. Okay, this trigger. Yeah, I'll make a duplication. And I think I can just move it to the bottom so it's closer to other triggers. So this one I'm gonna say girl trigger girl see enemy, trigger girl see enemy, let's see, one. Okay, so this is the first enemy, right? And I'm gonna delete the old script we have on it. We're gonna find the dialog see enemy. Okay, so we're gonna drop that script onto our trigger. So here we go. So first let's assign the variables. The audio girl running scared. So that is in here in the audio girl run group. Okay, running scared. So basically, whenever she see the enemy, when she see the zombie, so she's gonna stop play the running scared audio. Okay, and you can also turn off the whole group, which is audio girl run a group. I can also turn off the audio shot and heard group. Yeah, here. Okay, I can turn off this group, and I'm gonna also disable this trigger. So the only thing we left is dialog girl see the enemy. Okay, so we're gonna create that. So that's gonna be inside of the dialog here. So we can just duplicate from the old audio object we have created. So here gonna be audio girl see zombie. Okay, girl see zombie. Let's say clip 1. Okay, because I believe we have several of them. Let me see. Meet zombie. Yeah, we have 2 of them. Okay, so select the audio we just created and let's replace it with the first one. We're gonna be the oh my god. Okay, so she's gonna say oh my god when she see all the lights being shut off. Okay, and then let's go back to the trigger and assign that one. Okay, assign the zombie clip 1. So that is the girl crying oh my god. Okay, so that's the first one. And let's duplicate this trigger. Actually, here instead of see enemy here, I'm gonna be more specific. So I'm gonna be see zombie clip 1. All right, so now I'm gonna make a duplication. And for duplicate 1, I'm gonna say clip 2. And bring it closer to the zombie. So whenever our zombie is walking towards us, so we will see the zombie, right? So so the girl will be really kind of scared. Maybe I'll place it here. Yeah. So our girl will be really scared and she's gonna see, oh, what is that? Okay, so this is the clip 2. So for this one, we're gonna change the audio. So we're gonna duplicate the audio girl see zombie. So this time we're gonna see clip 2. Okay, so this is a new audio clip. And this one, we're going to use the second audio clip, which is the girl gonna cry saying, what is that? Okay, so that's clip 2. So let's assign the clip 2 audio onto the second trigger, which is here in the middle of the hallway. Okay, so we're gonna replace the audio. So whenever our zombie step into this trigger, our girl gonna scream, oh, what is that? And the other function is the same. Okay, so now before I do the full test, let me show you what the script is about. So whenever an object step into the trigger, you know, the object is tagged as a player or is tagged as an enemy. So you're going to turn off the audio run group and turn off the shot and heard group. You're going to start this quarantine. So you're going to play the dialogue the girl sees enemy. It can be either like she's saying, oh my god, or it can be, oh, what is that? And it's going to also disable this trigger's box collider. So this trigger will not function again. And you're gonna wait for 5 seconds is because the audio I have is 5 seconds. So for your own game later on when you create it, if it is a 3 seconds dialogue, you can change this to 3 seconds. And once it's done, you're gonna enable the audios. Okay, so that's it. So before we do the test, there's one thing I have to remind you is, remember in the script, I said either the player enter the trigger or the zombie enter the trigger. So in order to make a zombie to be able to trigger the trigger to happen, we have to add something called ring and body. So let me show you. On the player, we already have the ring and body by default. So the ring and body will allow you to trigger a function to happen. So for the zombie specifically, it would be its weapon. Okay, for the zombie, remember we have created a weapon on her hand. Oh, I haven't selected it, so here I'm gonna just select. I just search it weapon. So the zombie weapon. Remember this object we created and attached to her skeleton, right? So all we have to do is just add one simple component, which is the ring body. So if you just search for ring body, so here is it. This is it. I want you to turn off use gravity, so it will not fall. So without gravity, it will stay in place. So with the ring body enabled on this object, so this object will trigger the girl to talk. That's it. All right. So let me turn this off. Okay. So now let me do a full test. All right. So now I can open the door. Yeah, the sound is coming from this direction. So we're gonna walk this way. So as soon as I'm step in here, so she's able to see us, she will see, oh, unlock the door. Okay. And if I walk backward, if I'm walking away from her, she will see, oh, don't leave me. Okay, as I'm walking closer, she will see, unlock the door. So now I will open the door. She will see, oh, I'm so scared. Okay, so let's pick her up. So now she's gonna follow us. And we can hurt her. But you know what? Actually, in the beginning, we don't have the gun. So this is just for testing purpose. Okay, so now I will step into here. I will step into this trigger.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
See, she will see, oh my god. Okay, so now, oh, actually I forgot one thing. So let me temporarily turn on the direction light, so we'll be able to see the zombie. So now, we will let the zombie. Let me make this stronger, so we can see better. Okay, so this is just for testing purpose. So now let's make a zombie chasing us, so she will step into the trigger.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. What is
Come on.
that? What is that?
Okay, so she's saying, what is that? Because I stepped in the trigger. Okay, so zombie haven't chased us. Let me check what's happening. Let me mute the sound for a second. So the zombie should chase us when we step in here. So that's already. Attack, awake. Oh, I see. See, this is where my player is. I haven't stepped into here, so the zombie awake trigger. So let's just make the zombie awake trigger a little bit bigger. See, now she's chasing us. Okay, so I have to exit the game. So basically what happened is the wake trigger, the wake zombie trigger only covered here, but the trigger to trigger the girl to talk is away from it. So that's why. Okay, this is on my end. So if you don't have the issue, you know, if your awake zombie trigger covered, the trigger allow the girl to talk, then you should be fine. Okay, so this is just the issue on my end. Okay, so now it should work properly. So now let me just do a quick check. Okay, to see if this trigger work properly. So I'm going to temporarily move my player to here, to the cage, so I can speed up the testing.
Unlock the door.
And I'll also enable the directional light, increase the intensity, and I will get her out, and I'll take her to this trigger.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
And then I will piece off the zombie. Here we go.
What is that?
Okay.
What is that?
Okay, so as the zombie is walking towards us, she will see that. Okay, so the whole thing is functioning. I think this is gonna be a non-tutorial video, so I'll pause it here. So next step, what we're gonna do is we're gonna continue to work on the ghost here, right? So when the ghost appear, the girl gonna talk other stuff like, oh, they are everywhere, they're coming, something like that. And same thing for the final level, when the skeleton coming up, the girl gonna also talk. So we can basically use the same method, just duplicate the trigger and place it here, and have another sentence for her to talk whenever the enemy is appear. Okay.